The story comes to us from the Coloradoan.com. Out of Fort Collins, Colorado, a Fort Collins police officer is on leave after being arrested on charges stemming from, over the weekend, guess what? Domestic violence incident. Officers responded to a reported domestic violence situation about 11:20 p.m. involving the officer who was off duty at the time, according to a Fort Collins Police Services news release. Because the incident involved the Fort Collins police officer, the Larimer County Sheriff's Office responded. You think that's going to help? I mean, our brothers in tan. I don't know. Well, we're not investigating our own. Well, you kind of are. Anyway, for all of you who think this was a male cop, that this was a guy who beat his wife, you assume too much. See, you judgmental. You're judgmental. No, it was a woman. Deputies arrested the officer, 31-year-old Valerie Pedraza, on allegations of third-degree assault and domestic violence. Police say the victim in the case was minorly injured. What is minorly injured? Is that like a cut lip? Then on Monday, after the weekend, the sheriff's office received a report that Pedraza contacted the victim several times after she was released from jail on bond, violating a protection order intended to limit the contact between the suspect and the victim, according to police. Pedraza was then arrested again on suspicion of violating conditions of the protection order and her bond. You see. Now, she's been an officer with Fort Collins since 2019. Fort Collins Police Services Chief Jeff Swoboda said in a news release, what a name, Swoboda. Public trust demands integrity, transparency, and accountability. That's why our patrol supervisor called on our neighboring agency to handle this call, and it's why we're proactively sharing the facts with our community. I love how he says, that's why we called on our neighboring agency to handle the call. You called another law enforcement agency. Brothers in tan. Come on. We know the real deal. As of Tuesday last week, Pedraza remained in the Larimer County Jail. Personal recognizance bonds were issued in both cases, which allow those arrested to sign themselves out of custody, promising to return for their next court date. If that person does not appear, they have to pay the amount set by the judge. In this case, that would be $1,250 in the case involving the third-degree assault charge, and $750 in the case involving the violation of the protection order and bond condition charges. So basically, she pays $1,300 if she doesn't appear in court. What happens if she goes back to the guy and beats him again? Or girl? Don't assume too much. Now, Swoboda said in a news release, the investigation will dictate any professional and legal consequences. As an agency, we stand on the side of truth and justice. Pedraza is next scheduled to appear in court June 13th. That's next week, Monday. And then, of course, it gives you some numbers for suicide prevention, victims of domestic violence, and yada, yada. It's in the link below. But I don't know. Do you guys, anybody from Fort Collins? Do you guys? I mean, this is Colorado. We know Denver, Aurora, Colorado Springs. I mean, can I go on? So, but does anybody believe that Fort Collins, when the police chief says, "We stand on the side of truth and justice"? I have an S on my chest.